My dear students, today I am going to discuss the last part of Business Research Methods course. In this part, I shall discuss communicating research results. That means writing a research report. Now, in this lecture, I am going to discuss what is a research report, and I shall explain different parts of a research report. Dear students, now I will discuss what is a research report. Research report is a presentation of research findings directed to a specific audience for a specific purpose. That means it is a report that is prepared for a specific group of audience or a specific group of readers by following some format and guidelines. So the report that follows some standardized guidelines to report or to present the findings of the research is called a research report. As we mentioned that there are main three parts of a research report. The parts are prefatory parts, main body, and appended parts. Dear students, now I shall discuss the different subparts of prefatory parts of a research report. Under prefatory parts, there are 5 subparts. The subparts are title page, letter of transmittal, letter of authorization, table of contents, and executive summary or summary. The first part of preparatory parts of a research report is the title page. Title page is the first page of the report. In title page, there are in fact 4 sections. At the top, the title of the research, then prepared by, that means the name of the researcher, then prepared for, then name of the organization or the person who approved or who wanted to conduct this research, and then the affiliation of the researcher with date and year. So this is the first page of the research report, and that is called the title page. Next part is letter of transmittal. This is a letter written by the researcher to release the research report to the recipients or audience. So this letter is also included in the prefatory parts of the research report. In this part, researcher must not dive into the research findings and report it in this section. So this section is in fact only the releasing the or delivering the research report to the recipients. The next part is letter of authorization. This letter is also written by the researcher approving this research project. In this part, researcher can include the availability of the resources, responsibilities given to the different persons for conducting this research, and a brief of the research may be given under this authorization part of prefatory parts of the research report. Table of content is the third part of a research report under prefatory parts of the report. Table of contents include two types of contents: list of tables and list of figures. In this table of contents, researcher must include the page numbers of the main topic, subtitle, subtopic, and subtopic of the research report. So this is research table of contents included under the prefatory parts of a research report. Now the last part under prefatory parts of a research report is executive summary or summary. This summary should not be extended more than 2 pages. It must be less than 2 pages. In this summary, researcher should mention the objectives of the study. Researcher can report the important results of the study. Researcher can include the conclusions, that means explanations and brief explanations of the important results, and also researcher can include the recommendations in this part. So dear students, under prefatory parts of a research report, there are 5 subparts. What I already discussed. The parts are title, page, and then the letter of transmittal, letter of authorization, then table of contents, and executive summary or summary of the report. Dear students, now we shall discuss the second part of the research report, and that is the main body of the research report. Now in this main body there are 5 subparts. Let us see those 5 subparts. Introduction, methodology, results and discussions, scope and limitations, and conclusions and recommendations. Now we shall discuss each and every chapter under this main body of the research report. The first chapter is introduction chapter. Under this chapter, researcher must include the statement of the problem. That means problem of the research problem is to be stated in this under this chapter. Then objectives of the study, and then research questions, then rationale of the study, and scope and limitations of the study. So these are the different subtopics should be included under the introduction part of the research report. Then the second chapter is methodology. Under this methodology chapter, researcher should include how the answers of how this research has been conducted. Very specifically, I can say that this methodology chapter should include first the data sources. That means there are 2 sources of data, primary data and secondary data. The secondary data is the data that is the information that is collected through literature review. The research conducted on the same or similar problem earlier. So those research studies can be reviewed by the researcher. So through this literature review, researcher will develop the conceptual framework or the research framework of this research. So that is to be reported here under this methodology part. Then if it is a primary research, that means researcher will go for collecting data from the respondents. Then it is to be explained in detail. So data source is the first point to be described by the research in this research report under the methodology part. The second thing is, after explaining this, then sample design. That means who will be interviewing. That means who are the sample respondent and how many will be interviewed and what about their characteristics and other details. So these are to be explained in this part. That means the sample design. Then the third point is designing questionnaire. Designing questionnaire. That means in designing questionnaire, researcher must consider the research objectives, raw objectives, and the research questions. So based on, and also the literature review. So based on this, researcher will develop the questionnaire or the checklist. That is called checklist. That is called designing questionnaire. Then after designing questionnaire, collection of data. So in data collection, researcher can go for surveying the respondents, or this direct survey, or researcher can go for mail survey or Google survey. So researcher can use different types of methods to collect data. So after collecting data, researcher should describe the data analysis methods. There are 2 types of statistics we use in analyzing data. One is the descriptive statistics and other one is the inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics are used to describe the problem, describe the situation. So such as mean, standard deviation, or simple tabulation, etc. And in inferential statistics, we explain the relationship between two or more variables by using multiple regressions or correlations. So this data analysis, but how the data were analyzed in this report is to be explained here. And then report writing, that means how this report was written, what are the different parts of the reports, these are to be explained here. So under methodology part, there are the issues I discussed: the data source, then sample design, then questionnaire design, data collection and data analysis, and report writing. So these are the issues are to be explained here under this methodology part of the research report. The next part of the main body is the analysis and interpretations of the research findings and research results. Now here these results can be reported by using area 1, area 2 or area 3, and these area are to be identified on the basis of the objectives of the research, specific objectives of the research. So this part, that means the reporting the results, that means the analysis and interpretations of the results, is to be supported by the findings, by the tables, by the facts which were prepared and collected in this research. And the last part after analysis and interpretations is the conclusions and recommendations. Conclusions are the explanations of the important results of the research, and recommendation is made on the basis of the explanations. For example, if there is a finding in a research on a research conducted on the garment workers, the finding is that the accident rate is increasing. If the findings is like accident rates are increasing, then in conclusion researcher can explain, because he has the experience, he observed, he analyzed, he visited the factory, he talked to the people, so he can explain the reasons for increasing the accident rates. That means explanation of this important result is included in conclusion part of the research report. There is explanation, that is why these accident rates are increased. So say researcher explained that these accident rates are increased because the workers are not highly trained, they are not technically trained. So in recommendation, researcher can recommend that these garment workers should be given technical training and other types of training to reduce the accident rates. The last part of a research report is appended part. Under appended part, there are subparts. Let us see what are those subparts. Data collection forms, or we can say interview guide, detailed calculations, general tables, bibliography, and references. Under appended part, we include first the interview guide or the questionnaire that has been used to conduct the research. Then we include mainly the references, that means the literature used in this study and referred in the main body or the introduction part of this report. Those are reported in this appended part, that is called references or bibliography also. Now references are given in business. References are given by using APA, American Psychological Association style format. So this style can be used to write the references, and then the general tables, if there are there might have some tables or figures which are not very important for this research, but readers might be interested to read. So this can be added here in this appended part. And also detailed calculations can be given here under this appended part. So dear students, we have arrived at the last stage of today's lecture, and we lectured on the last part of the research method course, and that was the communicating the research results, that means writing a research report. So dear students, I hope that you have learned that what is a research report, what are the different parts of a research report, that means preparatory parts, main body, and the appended parts. Dear students, I hope that this lecture will be useful for you to write a standardized and a very good research report, which will be useful or useful to the audience or the readers. So see you again in next class. Thank you.